Hello and welcome to this issue of Motive Garage. Now before we show you how our R32 GT-R project car has gone down the rabbit hole of GT-R mods and spiraled out of control, we thought we'd take a look back and show you the history of the development of the car from 2011 until now. Now, I purchased the 1993 model R32 Skyline GT-R at the start of 2011 for a measly $10,500. Now, you get what you pay for, so it was pretty rough on the outside, had a couple of oil leaks, was missing the wing, and a few little problems. However, it did come with an HKS intercooler that's still in the car today, HKS coilovers and hard piping kit. It also had a Nismo and Jasma exhaust and a set of raised CE28 wheels as well. So the mods on the car were probably worth more than I paid for it. Now I drove the car back to Sydney from Queensland and GT-R life struck almost straight away. It turns out the person that installed the alarm, when they tore off the vacuum hose to the boost solenoid to try and put an alarm underneath there, had actually tore it, left that little bit on the bottom, and then when I was driving it around Sydney, 1 day of ownership in, that line blew off. What did it do? Overboosted the turbos. Factory ECU hasn't got a boost cut, so blew the back wheel off the back turbo and grenaded the engine in the most undramatic, boring way ever. So my GT-R ownership lasted all of about 3 days and I had a broken car. It took me probably about 8 months until the end of 2011 before I had enough money. I actually bought another crashed R32 GT-R. Long story short, I combined the best of two GT-Rs together, my one and the crashed one, and my GT-R journey began. First up, we had some custom high-flow -7 Garrett turbos made by the guys at GCG Turbochargers. We put a baffle in the sump and in the rocker covers, along with a catch can, and the wreck had a Power of C, side injectors and some adjustable cam gears to join the list of parts we already had. We also tidied a few things up, replaced some old water lines and hoses, put a new clutch in and put on some R34 GT-R wheels. The first tune netted 285 kilowatts or 375 wheel horsepower on premium unleaded. Not a bad start. Alright, that's a better time. It's 12.4 at 117.3. Next, we upgraded to R33 Brembo brakes and installed a larger fuel pump before getting back on the dyno and cracking 300 kilowatts or 400 horsepower at the wheels. We took the car to the Skyline Nationals and at Goulburn Airport ran a 12.4 second quarter mile. The 12.4 quarter mile and 19.5 half mile were enough for us to win quickest in standard four-wheel drive class. We then installed an X-Force 3.5-inch exhaust and power rose to 316 kilowatts or 420 horsepower. Next up, we installed some Tomei Type B pond cams, and even with stickier tyres on, we made 330 kilowatts or 442 horsepower. Suspension was tackled next with Teen Super Street coilovers and EDFC and the entire Super Pro catalogue of bushes and sway bars. The setup works so well that it is still in the car today. The quest for more power then continued with an upgraded fuel system, the installation of a Haltech Platinum Pro plug-in ECU, and we switched to E85. The car then made 383 kilowatts or 513 wheel horsepower. It surprised us, running an 11.0 at 130 miles per hour at Cootamundra on street tyres. And then on a cold winter's night, it struggled with traction, running an 11.1, but with a stonking 136 mile per hour blowing us away. Next up was one of our favourite mods we've ever done to the car, installing a Getrag 6-speed gearbox from an R32 GT-R. This transformed the car with mega response and drivability. Although the 6-speed made for more gear changes, a disadvantage in drag racing, a suspension setup change got us into the 10s on low mount turbos. At this point, the power caused a head gasket to fail, so while we replaced the gasket and studs, we decided to go single turbo, and our famous twins versus single video started its internet rampage. The Garrett GTX 3582 Gen 1 Turbo had a 101 twin-scroll rear housing on a 6-boost split-pulse exhaust manifold with TurboSmart 50mm external wastegate. The setup not only substantially outpowered the high-flow Dash 7s, but was more responsive at the same time. We thought that would settle the argument for good, but many still keep it going. The car then ran 10.7 at 138 miles per hour on street tyres and was a weapon of a street car. If anything, probably our favourite setup on the car as it kept its daily driven manners, but was a brilliant all-round sports car. Jesus. Far out. We then installed some R32 GT-R seats and steering wheel to modernise the interior. Our drag radial versus street tyre myth-busted feature came next, and our R32 GT-R ran 10.8 at Cootamundra on street tyres, then a 10.5 on Hoosier drag radials. We then headed to the drag strip to get ourselves a new PB of 10.3. With all that power, we did another myth-busted feature seeing how well a non-name brand brake kit works, with great results from CC Brakes. With the rest of the car upgraded, we went looking for more power again. Upgraded Bosch injectors and some more boost saw 489 kilowatts or 655 wheel horsepower, but we started to get valve float over 27 psi. We installed some Supertech single valve springs and then pushed to 504 kilowatts or 675 wheel horsepower and set a new PB of 10.2 at 139.99 miles per hour.
There we go, 155, that's about as fast as Andrew's car's ever gone to the 60. We'll have a look at the half-track time, 6:68.108, this is moving out. 10:24, that is a big PB, both miles per hour and ET.
So close to 140. With 9s now so close, we chased some more power, so we upgraded to a Garrett GTW 3884/67mm with a 101 rear housing and installed a larger wastegate spring. After sorting out some electrical voltage supply issues, we ended up with 545 kilowatts or 730 wheel horsepower. Back to the track, and the quickest we would go on the Get Drag was 10.1. A big change to the car came next, and a long-time personal dream fulfilled with the fitment of a PPG 6-speed sequential transmission. With no other changes, I drove to the track and ran our first 9-second pass. We were booted out for no cage, but were keen to head back and break the stock bottom end record at the time. We switched to a larger drag radial and headed back to get the job done. We went 997 and got booted again, before we had our third and final attempt.
992.
Yeah, that's it.
The run wasn't perfect, but it got the job done, and we were now the quickest stock bottom end GT-R that we knew of. That time has now been knocked off a couple more times, but we had our goal reached. The car was still on stock bottom end, and we made the most of it. Now, up until the end of 2017, we had done all of the development on the same stock bottom end and same stock head that came out of that crashed R32 GT-R wreck that we used. To be honest with you, it didn't actually compression check cold very well when we first bought it, but it survived the entire time of testing right up until this point. Now, we did start having a few issues with popping shims off once we damaged one of the retainers and also damaged the bucket the first time it popped off, and we noticed that we were starting to lose compression in one of the cylinders. Not a huge amount, just a little bit. So we decided at this point we'd strip it all down, take a look, and we actually live streamed that on our Facebook page, which you can go looking for if you like. Now the crazy part was, there was absolutely nothing wrong with the rotating assembly. The pump, the bearings, the crank, the rods, the pistons were all perfect. They literally showed no signs of any strange wear or any damage whatsoever. We could have put the whole thing back together. What actually we did find out when it went off to the machine shop is that one of the bores was actually out of round. Why? Probably just from, I don't know, lots of power, lots of time, lots of use. It just got out of round, and that's where the compression went. And it did have a crack in the block. Mind you, that crack in the block had JB Weld on it and had been in the car for probably 2 years like that. But between those two problems, we decided that block was in the bin. Now, I could have started building an engine at this point, but we decided we still had more to prove and people to beat, Simon, on a stock bottom end, so we went and bought another standard engine, but it didn't really go to plan. Bizarrely, the stock engine we bought turned out to not be stock and had a set of aftermarket pistons in it. We thought, stuff it, and we added Nitto rods, Nitto oil pump, enlarged sump, and Nitto head gasket and restrictors. We squeezed it on the dyno to a new PB of 586 kilowatts or 785 wheel horsepower. We got to drive the car in anger only once at power play, and it was proper fast.
Holy. That's all I can say is holy. Andrew, what did you just do, mate?
I'm going to try a high boost. I don't know what's going to happen.
So this is the first time the speed car's been on high boost since the tune, yeah?
I haven't been on high boost yet.
It didn't last long though, with the shall not be named piston cracking and then exploding, taking a rod, bore and block with it in a dramatic way. While the car was off the road, we decided to get it caged and teched so we could go back to the track and run under the 10.0 barrier and continue the development of the car. We then got about building a serious RB26. PRP tested block with a brace, balanced and shot peened crank, Nitto rods, pistons, pump and head gasket, ARP main and head studs, larger sump, which also now housed a coiffed front differential, and this time around we had CRD do one of their race-ported heads filled with Supertech oversized valves, double valve springs, titanium retainers, and finished off with some monster CRD spec camshafts. While we were at it, we also upgraded the fuel system to a Platinum Racing Products mechanical fuel pump kit with custom surge tank, new lines, a larger TurboSmart FPR 2000 fuel pressure regulator, and Bosch 2200cc injectors inside a Raceworks fuel rail. We installed a Ross balancer and trigger kit, and we also upgraded our direct clutch services twin plate that had lasted for years to their new 9-inch twin plate. We also upgraded the Howtech from a Platinum Pro plug-in to an Elite 2500, future-proofing the car. Our GT-R was now going onto a mainline hub dyno, so we couldn't directly compare the numbers, but it now had full traction on the dyno and easier and safer to tune. We maxed out the GTW 3884 at 840 horsepower at the hubs. Watching it swing to 9,500 RPM was epic, and that sound is just glorious. We didn't want to go back to the track with only a little bit more power and more weight from the cage, so we decided to upgrade and try out Garrett's new G35 series turbocharger. We grabbed their latest one with the G35 1050 and installed it along with a new 6-boost exhaust manifold and new TurboSmart 60mm external wastegate. On the dyno, the car almost cracked 900 horsepower at the hubs. We took the car out for some testing at Power Cruise on a little under 800 horsepower, and it was quite simply a weapon. So there it is, the development of our R32 GT-R from 2011.